tough guys love Just Stop Oil. Or at least that's what I took from this interview on Laura Kuenssberg's BBC show.
The activists involved sometimes now are taking quite extreme action to cause disruption to people's lives to raise the cause. Is that the right way to go about it?
These are very passionate people. These are people that mean well. They're maybe not going about it in a way that we would like them to go about it. But the bottom line is people worldwide are angry about government because they just have excuses after excuses why they cannot get it done. I mean, think about it, that the world signed an agreement in 2015 in Paris to go and to reduce greenhouse gases by a certain percentage. Well, 70% of the countries have not really lived up to their promise. So now you live in one of those countries and you say to yourself, wait a minute, including Austria has not lived up to its promise. So there's 70% of the countries that have not lived up to their promise. So people are angry. They say, what can I do? So they go and just do anything because they're angry and they're frustrated. So governments always find excuses after excuses why it is expensive, it's this or that. I don't know what they're talking about. It's just the will is not there. And they're worried about selling out and all of this kind of things and maybe disappointing the oil companies or the car manufacturers. It needs leadership and it needs people to come together.
Aaron, Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Terminator, the former Republican governor of California, is on side when it comes to Just Stop Oil.
He's always been very good on climate issues and he's talking sense. Look, in 2021, the International Energy Agency said that there can be no new developments of oil, gas, or coal, but particularly oil and gas, if we are to reach net zero by 2050. Now, everybody pays that lip service, right? We talk about net zero by 2050 in this country. And of course, the IEA is talking at a global level. Net zero by 2050 would be, an extraordinary accomplishment. But if you are serious about that, then it means not creating any new oil or gas sites in your country, which is exactly what we're trying to do. And frankly, the government and the Tories, let's be honest, are all over the place on this stuff. So, we had fracking until 15, 16, 17, then no fracking. Then Liz Truss wanted to bring back fracking. They claim they want net zero, then they don't want net zero. They want you to go in electric cars. By the way, we'll stop the sale of petrol cars after 2030, but we won't build the infrastructure for you to be able to charge an electric vehicle. They're clearly not serious people in addressing this issue. And so I think Arnold Schwarzenegger put it perfectly, which is, well, people see there's a huge problem, which, by the way, political elites acknowledge, and they see that there isn't action which is commensurate to the problem. And so they say, well, I'm going to do something about it. And you don't have to agree with what they're doing. What he did there, Michael, I thought this is a key distinction. He didn't defend what they're doing. He explained it. There's a big, big difference. He explained why Just Stop Oil are committed to direct action in the way that they are. And that is because there is a fundamental disconnect between how politicians talk regarding the scale of the climate crisis and then with regards to what they actually do. And I think it's brilliant that people keep on drawing attention to precisely that disconnect. Politicians are not serious about the scale of the climate crisis. Whatever your feelings about Just Stop Oil, even if you think that, climate change doesn't exist, this is the exact same attitude we see with regards to the housing crisis, inequality, deindustrialization, the decline of the high street, demographic aging. The political class will talk about all these things. This is definitely happening. There's a housing crisis. What are you going to do about it? Well, if only developers would build more houses. Oh, demographic aging, we're getting older. Then Keir Starmer says, we'll be better than the Tories on the NHS. Yes, of course they will be. But then proceeds to say, we don't need to spend any money. Technology is the breakthrough. What? To stop people getting older? Maybe in 100 years, Keir. We won't be around to see it, sadly. So I think that disconnect needs to be highlighted by activists again and again and again and again and again. It's a serious issue. You say as much, and yet you don't act accordingly.